Welcome back to Powered by Her. I'm Tiffany Anton with the Biz Foundry, and I'm loving our new set. We love the video component. Hopefully you've been able to check that out on YouTube. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button so that you can see that when they come out every second and fourth Fridays, there'll be new Powered by Her episodes. Today we wanted to say thank you to our sponsor. Our first ever guest on Powered by Her was CG England with CG's Boutique, and for the month of February, we're already kind of rolling into February by the time this comes out, but you can get 15% off jewelry such as my earrings, my necklace, 15% off if you mention Powered by Her. Her address is 410 North Spring Street, so go check out CG's, a great partner for Powered by Her. Today we have Shaquawana Wester. Hey. I have been fighting to get you on this podcast for so long. You're like this iconic, I know you don't think so, but you are this iconic person in Cookeville.
Thank you.
So Shaquawana has Forever June inspired stuff. You're a maker.
Yes,
you make
definitely.
Everything.
I do.
You just you have creative juices that you love to have flow.
Definitely. Definitely.
So tell me, what is Forever June inspired?
So years ago, I just started with vinyl. The vinyl craze was coming out, and when you have a name like Shaquawana, you can't just go into the store and pick out what you want. Yeah. So as people started making things, and I lived in low-income housing at the time and had a little money and wanted to invest in something. Every year you see people, let's just be honest, you have this stereotype of people get their income tax and they go buy the biggest TVs and the biggest. So every year I try to invest in something that I can make profitable throughout the year for my family, for my kids.
So in a business way.
Yes, definitely.
You use that money towards a business.
Towards a business. So
Where do you get that business sense, or why have you been inspired to?
Just being a single mom, coming up and seeing my mom hold things down, however she had to, and I want to show my girls that you can take care of yourself. You don't have to depend on anyone, but you can have a partnership with other people. Yeah. So that's kind of what I've set out to do, and so each year,
hustle and drive.
Definitely. Not everything is handed to you. There's it's okay to get help, but you don't ever want to just depend on solely that help, and you always want to try to do better.
Yeah. So how long ago did you kind of start doing? How long have you been a maker?
I'm gonna say I started probably. Let's say my daughter's 13 this year. One of my daughters turned 13 this year.
And you have how many daughters?
I have three. I have a 24-year-old, a 13, and one will be 12 in February. And I started with, when I was home with her, taking pictures. Mm-hmm. So that was my first thing. I just taking pictures, taking classes online. The next year I did, got the vinyl cutter. The next year, every year I've just bought something else, taught myself how to work it. And this year I've decided, or at the end of 2020, I'm like looking at all of my things and I'm like, you have a business. Yeah. It's time to get real. So.
Yeah. Well, and a couple years ago you went through an Etsy course.
I did.
And you learned how to, you were inspired enough. What stopped you from kind of jumping in head first and saying, I'm going to be a seller on Etsy?
Several things. One, I tend to get in my own way, just out of fear, anxiety. I almost feel like I'm afraid of the what if, and people are like, what if what? And I'm like, what if I make it? Yeah. Like, what if I make it? What do I do with that? I'm used to the struggle, but I'm not used to being able to coast and say everything is okay. Yeah. So, that would just set a different aspect for me, and I'm not sure how to handle it.
Yeah. Do you think you ever worry that people would think, well, you're not a real business owner, or you're not a real maker?
Definitely, especially when you're dealing with locally. Everybody just knows I'm Shaquawana. I'm little Shaquawana, and I have struggled with how to advertise myself and being serious. Like, are they going to take me serious? You deal with people wanting deals. They want to undercut you because they know you.
And you're from here. You grew up here.
I did. I was born in Nashville, but I've been here my entire life. And so when you go from trying to I guess starting out, like I said, as that hobby and just trying to make a few things for my kids, make a shirt here for somebody, make a shirt there, and then realizing that you can really make a business out of this and trying to set those goals and a seriousness in advertising. And I have a Facebook group and there's 700 people in there. Like I can do it.
Do you stop and take that in? Like 700 people think of you as Forever June inspired and not Shaquawana from All Good.
Just this, literally 2020. It's like something just clicked in there and was like, wait a minute. There's 700 people. These are not all people that are your friends. These are people that your friends have shared and said, hey, my friend makes this, and they've came and they've stayed. And they like what you're doing. They haven't hit that unfollow thing, you know. They're there.
So what are you making with you got a laser engraver?
I do. I made these earrings that I'm wearing today.
Excellent.
Yes.
So those are wooden.
They're wooden. Yeah. I do leather. One of my favorite things is taking this Christmas I did a few bracelets of people that have lost loved ones and had their handwriting, and I took those and put them on leather bracelets for them. Yeah. I'm really into trying to preserve memories for people. That's where my heart is with it. But I also just like being able to reach out to people that may not be able to afford certain things and give them a piece of that too. So that's again where my struggle is, because I tend to
you have a big heart.
I value other people and their needs, and then I forget that, you know, at one point my guy's like, if you make one more thing and you don't make a profit from it, you're not buying any other machines. Like, you're done. Like, stop. Like, I tend to pay people to get my things, and so I'm trying to get into gear where I can't raise my girls to be successful if I'm not showing them how, if I don't model the business side of the whole thing.
So it's February, which means it's Black History Month.
It is.
So what do you think the differences? I'm a very big advocate that we need to see color. Yeah. We need to recognize that there's a difference, and we need to respect the differences in color.
Definitely.
What do you think, as a Black business owner, the struggles that you face? What do you think I mean, I'm sure we could go into 4 hours of this, but kind of the surface of what do you want people to know, I guess?
Okay. Well, first, I'm gonna back up and say the first thing I want people to know is exactly what you said. It does not. When you come to me and you think that you're easing things by saying I don't see color, I'm like, I'm totally okay with you seeing that I'm a Black woman. Yeah. I am a Black woman, and that's okay. When I look at you right now, I see that you have on red pants, black shoes, white shirt. That's not a problem. It's once you treat me differently because of my color, that's where the problems lie. So there is...
Well, and I think a little compassion for knowing that maybe my background was different than your background.
Definitely.
And so I think that's important to know.
It is, especially in the time we're in right now, because things have kind of hit this peak of... there's a struggle going on between everybody. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So it's set a stage where you almost don't know who to market to, who your people are, if you're going to be accepted once they find out that, you know, Forever June inspired, but then once you come on and you see the name Shaquawana, you're like, Wester. Oh, you know. Yeah. And that's the reality in being African American, no matter where you're at. That's with doctors, am I going to get the same health care? Am I going to get treated the same when I walk into the bank and apply for some kind of loan? Am I, you know, I don't understand. One of my biggest questions always is, you know, when you have to check on a box what your ethnicity is. I mean, does it matter if I'm Black, white, whatever? And just if I deserve it, then I should be able to get it.
Right.
Unless you know that you're specifically applying for something that has been made for women or, you know, certain groups. I understand that. But if it's just a general application, I
Do you think that in the Black community that there's a little bit more like, well, you're my homegirl, so hook me up with a discount on this. Like, you're not going to charge me full price on this, right? There's less respect to a business owner, I guess.
Well, I'm going to say, just speaking with friends, if you'd asked me that a couple of years ago, I would say yes, completely. I almost feel like that's in a lot of different groups, but I'm trying to, what I found here being in Cookeville, there's just not that grouping at all. So I come out and I'm trying to make all of these things. Okay, I'm African American. I'm making all these shirts for the Black people and the earrings, and that market isn't here so much. But then I'm going to be honest, and y'all can come for me later, but I'll see a picture where they've ordered the same thing that I can offer online, and I'm like, I literally make that same thing.
Right.
And it's not even that. If you don't want to order from me, it costs $0 to share because someone on your page may. And I don't know what that is. I don't know what the I've heard of it sometimes called the crab mentality of you're not making it, so you're not going to help anybody else. And I don't know if that's I'm going to be 100% honest. I'm, again, born in Nashville but raised in Cookeville. I've spent the majority of my time being the only Black kid in my class or whatever. So I'm lacking some of that cultural sense other than knowing how I'm treated.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, this is not a very diverse area whatsoever. It's a large population of Caucasian people.
It is.
And so, but I can imagine, like, this is all you've ever known. So you don't know, what it would be like other places. So what is making you take the steps to try to legitimize your business? Again,
my biggest thing is my children.
I think there's a huge burden. It's not a burden maybe, but raising daughters it's a lot of pressure.
It is.
To make sure you're the right example for
them. It is. And also trying to balance being independent, but not so independent that you're like, I can take care of myself, I don't need you. So then you're only attracting people that are coming for that, oh, she's got it made, she's got the money, so, but I want them to know that they can take care of themselves.
I know.
So if I can, I work full time, but if I can also supplement that with my own that nobody can take from me, just trying to show them that. I also just want to be able to, I lived in public housing, was a single mom, and I've come a long way.
Yeah.
But not so far.
Wait, let's say that again.
I've come a long way.
Yes, girl. I think that sometimes we forget to stop and celebrate that.
Definitely.
So I love to be able to be that cheerleader for people and say, yeah, you own it, girl.
Yes, I have.
So
but I want to get to the point that not only have I come a long way, but I'm making it. If I want to go and my girl says, hey, I want the XYZ, then I have the choice of going and getting it because I want to or not. Right now, it's just like, okay, give me a couple of weeks and we'll go for that.
Yeah.
So I want to make it past that. I want them to understand and see that hard work will make it to where you have what you need, but you can also get what you want.
Right. So you have a business, which is at the moment kind of a side hustle. You're legitimizing it and you're really going to kind of own that business.
Yeah.
But you have a day job.
I do.
And you work with youth, at-risk youth?
I like to say youth that live in public housing.
Okay.
And when I first came there, yes, it's at risk, but I'm like at risk of...
For those who are listening, quote unquote,
right, at risk. And I'm like, at risk of what?
Yeah.
And for me, they're more at risk by the judgment of the public than they are of what they are actually going to do in their future. So I try to not use that term. But
so for people who aren't aware, what does it mean to live in public housing?
It is low income, so your home is based on your income. A lot of people have this perception that it means they pay no rent, no lights, the public's paying for all of these things. That is not true. As a matter of fact, there's a huge waiting list because if you don't have any income coming in, you are not going to have enough points to get in. So you have to have some kind of income to even get into public housing. The safety net is if something happens and you lose your income, then you don't get kicked out. The rent kind of raises and lowers based off a percentage of that income. So it's a hand up. It's not set up to be a handout. But our department is the resident services department, and so we are able to go in and try to meet some of the basic needs of families. So for me, that looks like kids that when I first got there about 9 years ago, they it was based on homework, homework, homework. And I remember being a kid and moving from, I lived in a little blue house on the corner, and my mom and stepdad separated, and we moved into public housing. And there was so much going on, dealing with that separation, and not just worrying about my mom and how we were going to make things work. So I have been able to take these kids and say, I've been there. What was I feeling at this age? And so I try to meet basic needs. Are they fed? Or do they have hygiene products? Do they need shoes? Do they need clothing? I have a free store that the families can come to, and they can get items that they need at no cost, no questions asked.
Which is kind of, so you started Shaquawanas coats.
I did
at some point. So when did that start?
I was
again, you wanted to lead the heart of you. I like that this is around Valentine's Day because you have a huge heart and you love to serve people.
I love to serve people. I definitely love to serve
people.
So
where did the idea for Shaquawanas coats come from?
So that was me being a single mom. I had to go to a coat drive one time, and they needed to know all of this information, how much money I made, and did I, it was a lot. And I'm literally like, I just need a coat for my kid. Nobody's standing in line for a coat for their kid for fun, So I decided as an AmeriCorps to do a project to make a difference day, and we just collected coats and handed them out. That year, it was in a small office on tables. We had 4 people there to help, and when the doors opened, there was hundreds of people. So it has grown each year into actually having to use different facilities, people that will let us use their facility. And
how long ago did you start?
I'm a horrible date person. I'm going to say that was I think that was my first year as an AmeriCorps, first or second year, so about 8-9 years ago. And yeah, next year, actually 2021, if we get to hold it, will be the 10th annual. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, and that was just something kind of based on your own experience. Mm-hmm. You wanted to make a difference.
Everything I do, if I'm doing it, it's based on something that I've went through, had something that either it was great and I want to replicate it, or it wasn't so great and I want to try to fix it.
Who do you think, so you mentioned you lived in public housing. Mm-hmm. How did you get motivated and inspired to leave public housing, get your own place? Were there people, mentors that you had along the way, or you just had that drive within you?
I'm going to say it's a mixture of all. I've had so many people that have just met me and cheered me on and been there. Of course, my biggest cheerleader, my children, my 24-year-old daughter, and Curtis, my guy. He's been
and your 24-year-old, she's now making stuff herself.
Yes. She's making too. So that's my goal, is just trying to, with my girls, like I want them to see it, to learn it, to keep going. It's going to be a family thing before it's over. It's going to be like the Wester girls. I don't know, but just I've had several cheerleaders that have stood behind me, but I also just want to. I think there's something in you when you see my mom, who was with the same man, all of these years, and for one decision to be made, and it set us out. And so I think that right there took something in me that made me say, like, this is where I'm at. And I made some mistakes along the way, but it's made me who I am.
Right.
And I'm actually still working on it. I'm just now, actually this year, working on becoming a first-time home buyer. So it's still a process and stairway to some kind of success for me. I'm not done.
And I think that's the thing, is kind of knowing that there are steps to take toward the goal that you want. whether it's in your business or in your personal life, and you can be inspiring to other people. I think that's when I learned about you. It was just the fact that you keep going and you serve other people along the way. You're not somebody that feels like, well, I got to take care of me and my own first. Let me serve and it'll come back to me.
Definitely. And it always does. I
Yeah.
don't, and I have to say, Cookville, the community here is absolutely amazing. There's been a few times that I've had to reach out and say, hey, I need a little bit of help, so.
So talk about your birthday.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's like 2 times that it's just been like, wow. So,
Yeah.
I was looking at this machine. I've had my eye on it,
A
and
laser engraver that would kind of take your.
no, it was the toner. It's my white toner. Yeah. Okay. So I'm like, this is something that if I get it right, I can offer out to other people that don't have this machine and that want to do shirts and So I put a little blurb out for my birthday just saying, hey, I'm really wanting to go for this machine. If you want to drop $1 or $2 to it, if you want to just share it, if you just want to pray for me that I figure out how to do this and that I make good of what comes to me kind of thing. And I went back and forth with it, and I was like, I am not posting this. And my daughter's like, just post it. Like, what's the worst that can happen? Either you get nothing or you get $5. That's $5 more than what you had. Yeah. So I post it and I went to bed, and my phone all night long is like just notification chime, and I'm like, what in the world? So
when you first went to look, did you think that there's haters out there? People are hating.
I knew somebody was I was like, somebody is going to blast me. It's gonna like they are going to make me feel like just like, what are you doing?
Right,
like you don't do that kind of thing.
I think it's women can be catty.
Women, girl.
I mean, I want to try and reverse that and have such women support.
Well, even just on the. There's a little meme that's going around right now, and it's like you can go to McDonald's and they can forget your fries 50,000 times, but you go to a small business and they don't have your order on time one time, and you've made a Facebook post, you've unfriended them, you've told all your friends don't go to them. Like, there's no grace when it's somebody that you should be standing behind. Like, we are literally, I work 8 to 6. And then I have my daughter to volleyball practice, and then I've got to, go and grab her and just whatever. Yeah. And then there's times that I'm not complaining. I'm blessed that I'm my age and can still hang like this. Instead of hanging in the club all night, I'm in this room that's like literally this room that's like, it's so small, and I'm in there with a heat press and a fan on me, just like, please don't pass out till 4 a.m. And then I get right back up at 6 to get my girls up to do it all again. So
okay, so go back to the birthday.
And
so you get up and I get up
and I look, and I was aiming for the small package machine. Like if I can just make it to the small package. I didn't get the small package, and I didn't get the medium package. I got the large package. I got the large machine and the paper and the just absolutely blessed.
Yeah. Absolutely
blessed.
And I think it's so important to mention how much it's because you put it out there. Because you put good, you do good, it comes back around to you. And so people support. I think with business, my dad's been in sales for 35 years, and he said, Tiffany, you have to sell yourself first, and then sell your company, and then sell your product. If people buy into all three, the first 2 things, then they'll buy your product. And so you've done a great job of letting people see your heart and show your heart. I know that's uncomfortable.
I know.
Like I said, this has been a long time coming, trying to get you on this couch right here. But I think it's important for people to know the heart that you have. And because there's other women out there that feel the same way, that they serve others and they are kind of they're making stuff, they want to help people, they want to put products out there for people, but they just don't, they're scared to take that leap.
Yeah. And when you said that to me, that's what made me come. If I can help someone else, if I can show someone else that they can, and it took me a minute. Like I have sold so many things that's not my thing. That's not it. I did the lipstick that stays on, and and then I felt guilty, like I'm not charging people $50-something for. But if you find your thing and you love it, and you you just have to go for it.
How do you think that you found you just keep trying different things?
Different things. I mean, I've literally tried. I mean, even with photography, you know, I love it. I like it. It's fun. Again, it's about people with photography. I find people that can't go out there and do a they've never had family pictures or their baby's being born, and I'll do those, and it's okay, it's fun. But with the actually making that, like the earrings, and that's my jam. Like I love taking that wood and making something and just putting it out there, and somebody comes to me and they want it, and I know that I've made a woman feel beautiful, or I've made somebody that couldn't go somewhere else and get this gift, and they come to me for it.
That personal
It's
touch.
and it's just a different. It's different than anything else I do because I'm making it. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's I'm making it. It's not me going to some other person and they're making it for me and I'm getting it out there. And that's fine too. If that's your jam, it just wasn't mine.
So people who have known both of us for a while have kind of said we're similar people. I think I have a huge heart. I love serving people. And I'm such a passionate person. But then sometimes people don't know how to tap. I don't understand this myself, but people don't know how to tap into their passion. How do you think you know how to tap into that? Do you think that there's a way to? Because I can't imagine life without being passionate about what I'm doing. I mean, even your day job, you're super you love the kids you work with. You love your coat drive.
I'm gonna say when it got tough with other things that I've tried to do, when it gets tough, I'm just done. I tap out. But when it gets tough with these things, I come back harder and stronger, and I keep going. That's my clue. Like I'll tell anybody, I didn't like working with kids. I'm like, when I got out of childcare, I was like, I'm not working with any more kids. And then this position came along, and I'm like, it's a volunteer position. It'll help me get back into the workforce because I'd stayed home with my two youngest for a little bit. And I was like, I'm just going to do it for a while. And it was teenagers, and I was like, I don't want to work with teenagers of all people. They're smart mouth, they're foul, you know, just all of these reasons. And I got in there, and I'm like, I'm not leaving. Like I'm not ready. At some point, I think that my path will go another way. I would love to be able to have my own youth group to offer, or something that spins off of this where I'm still there, but can offer this to other kids in the community that are in the same position, but are not under Highlands Residential, so they can't, you know, they're not with me. So I would love to touch on that, but everything goes right when I'm working with these kids. Everything goes right in my life when I'm doing what I'm doing. That's how I know that that's my passion, and I need to keep going forward with that.
And so I used to be a high school teacher. People are like, oh, high school kids. Yeah. But I feel like it mattered more. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people little kids kind of trust adults. They look up to them. Yeah. But I like that challenge. Yeah. I liked the kids that, you know, they never had a teacher believe in them before, or, you know, they weren't going to graduate high school had it not been for me going to their house and picking them up and taking them to school every day. Yeah. Like, you know, I liked that challenge more because, and they still come back to me. They're 30-year-old people.
So I was going to say, when you have these teenagers that are gone and have no reason to come back, and they do, they find you and they want you to know what they're doing in their life. And it's not just the good, it's, you know, Shaquawana, I messed up. You know, those things. Then I know that I've mattered to them, and they know that you know, I'm gonna go with ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, and they say it takes one person to be steady in a kid's life to change some of the things that could, you know, their chances of addiction, their chances of getting with a violent partner, of becoming an addict, any of those things. It takes one person. And so I'm not saying that the parents aren't there for them, but when you're a single mom, I know how busy you can be. I know that you don't mean to neglect, but you have all of these other things on your shoulders. And so I'm just there to help these parents at that point to get through it. Yeah. I become that one person in the kids' lives, and my own kids are in the program. Yeah. You know, that I believe in this program so much that my own kids are there. I'm not ever going to ask someone to put their kids with me if I wouldn't have my own kid in the program. Yeah. And so I'm just trying to be that for those kids.
So what do you see the next? What's in the future for Forever June inspired?
Well, I'm hoping a
You
nice
can
little
say it.
Etsy shop.
Yeah.
Nice little Etsy shop. And, if you're watching this and you want to check it out, I'm on Facebook, Forever June Inspired. I have a group and a
And
page.
this was named after your mother, is
That's
that correct?
after my mom, yes.
Yes.
Her name was Bobby June, and I had no idea what her middle name was until she passed because she hated it. And so she just has that kind of quirky personality that I know that she would totally whoop me if she were here for naming it June. She would. And so I'm like,
What can you do now?
it's June forever. I know now that it's June.
Oh,
so,
I love it.
and
I
then
love
the
it.
little picture is an outline of her holding me when I was a baby.
Wow,
So,
that's a great story. A great way to honor her.
Yeah.
So Facebook, people can find you on Facebook.
Yeah.
Or you'll have an Etsy shop.
I'm gonna have Etsy shop soon.
Up and running.
Yeah.
And so earrings and personalized
Items, yeah.
And so do you do people ever say, hey, can you do this? And you kind of stretch your wings to say, let me try that
I
out.
will try anything. I'm actually and again, when I say that literally everything I do is to try to reach out, there's a reason behind it. So we're looking at trying to start a little maker type space for our youth group, but I'm always looking for kids, artists, anybody that, if you can draw and you want to see what your artwork will look like on a shirt, or I can take your shapes and turn them into earrings, or we can partner up. I'm all about showing kids how to make money. Trying to explain to a child that you can draw a picture. My daughter loves to draw, and I'm like, you can draw this picture and you can sell it to someone once, or you can put it through these programs and it will help show you, how to take it, and you can sell it several times to people like me that cannot draw, that, makers, I need those files.
Yeah.
So there's so many aspects when you're a maker of things that you need and the different people that can work together.
I really liked, we had an artist on a previous episode, and she, would paint pictures. And then she started putting her paintings on pillows and notebooks and greeting cards. And it was like, you can, it's a beautiful picture. Now many people can enjoy it.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty cool, way to spread your work out to other people.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for coming in. I know that it's been a long time coming. I think you're so respected. We didn't even get into the impact, your role with Impact and all the things that you do for this community. I think you're just such a great spokesperson for just strong women. And I'm so glad that you are now part of the Powered by Her family. And I look forward to seeing what you do in the future.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on.